This follows on from the TEDx Talk, How Unicorns Wind Up in a Straitjacket. Hey, and thank you so much for joining us on the series of How Unicorns Get Out of a Straitjacket. That's to say, super talented professionals, people like yourselves who end up in the wrong career for them. So they feel restricted and confined, just like wearing a straitjacket. That's what unicorns in a straitjacket means. Today, I'm going to introduce you to a phenomenal lady, really someone I truly admire and is super inspirational. And please help me welcome Dr. Clara L Peters, all the way from the United States. That she's a speaker, a pastor, and a Christian counselor. And I'll let her tell you all about herself. So hi, Dr. Clara, welcome.
Hello, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I can't wait to hear your story.
Thank you. I'm excited as well, and I'm happy to be here. Really happy to share.
Fantastic. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Yes, I am a mother of three grown children, a grandmother of seven. Um,
Whoa.
yes, they're my world. They're my world, and I'm going to spend to see Disney on Ice tonight with a few of them. But yes, and I'm a Christian counselor as well as a pastor, a mentor, a leader. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a five-time best-selling author of my book that I just released a couple of months ago, Removing the Mask because I Become the Authentic Me. But I've been an author for years, but I just released my first solo project. So God he's constantly shifting and involving me.
Mm.
And that's one thing that I try to let women know. Don't just stay stuck in one place. Allow him to continue to mold you and evolve you because he has more for you to do than just that one thing.
Yes, absolutely. I always contend that we're multi-talented, multifaceted people, and
Mhm.
you almost do yourself a disservice if you just stay in one area of, especially in
Mhm.
careers. When I'm working with
Right.
clients, absolutely. So I definitely resonate with that. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Wow. And do you want to share with us a little bit about your career journey or how you came to what you do?
Yes. Well, I was in a marriage, and for almost 2 decades, I was abused. And in that shift that God gave me from bringing me out of that marriage, where I didn't know who I was, I didn't know my identity because my identity was controlled by my husband, my ex-husband. And so I was just his wife and their mother. I enjoyed being a wife and a mother, but God had more for me to do. So he took me on a journey
Mm.
and to walking in my authenticity. And he gave me a mandate to be the voice for the voiceless so that I can help other women that was in my situation that didn't have anyone that they can lean on or pull on. Because when I was going through it, there was no social media
Wow.
like it is today. So there was no one unless you was really close to me and you every day and you kind of saw something, you didn't know because my family didn't know until after 20 years. And I finally said, enough is enough. God said, I'm releasing you. And so I called my parents and said, I filed for divorce. So he moved me from being that wife, that mother, that stay at home mom to working, then, of course, becoming a advocate for domestic violence survivors, people that are still in it, because I do help them come up with a strategy to come up out of it, um, as well as help them in steps to become healed and whole from that.
Wow. They definitely do say heroes are born out of adversity. That is
Mm.
beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
And how tell us about how that felt for you, the transition. Was there a point in your life or something you remember that you thought, okay, this is it now, and actually I can turn this experience or what they said, this mess into your message? How did that come up for you?
Oh, it was a big transition for me because I had been with him since I was a teenager. So to move from that to being a single woman, not just a single woman, but a single mother. Um, we have 3 children, and by that time, our oldest was grown, but I still had one in elementary school and one in middle school. So before I came out of it, I was already free from the marriage because I was already dead on the inside from that relationship. So I was good there, but I still had some healing to do. But I was happy to be free to breathe. I didn't know what it was like to breathe. And somebody heard me say that before, they didn't understand. And the thing is when you in bondage, and someone controls your every movement, you're not able to be you, then you walk around in eggshells, to where you just, and so once that shifted and I was able to wake up in peace and not in pieces and was able to breathe, I knew I had arrived to being me, to being the person that I knew that was not just for me, but for my children and grandchildren, because I was able to breathe and just be me.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Wow, it's like bursting out of the straitjacket. I could just imagine just to be you, to breathe, to be free. That.
Mhm. Yes, I had to come from being a caterpillar to the butterfly, and I share that all the time, because if you look at the 4 stages of a caterpillar, and once it comes from that to a butterfly, it's the stages that I had to go through, from being in bondage to being set free, and God saying, now I gave you your wings, it's time for you to fly.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Wow. Um, and coming back to the 3 steps into really discovering your purpose and your mission in life, the first step we said in the TED Talk was identifying clues for you, the clues that mean that you're right to do this, perhaps in your childhood or your natural genius or what you're usually complimented on. What are some of those clues for you?
That is right for me to do this. Those clues was standing on words that my parents had said when I was growing up. And of course, it's always biblical, but it's just like believing in myself, knowing I can do what all God has said that I can do, knowing that even though I may fall down, but God still got me, uh, and trying to just focus on the positive and not the negative. And due to the fact that I had so much negative in my life, I had to, the biggest thing was to just focus on the positive
Right.
and not let the negative outweigh it. And which, in order to do that, I had to set me free. I had to put him first. I had to put me first. I had to choose me.
Right. Wow. So those all of those wise words stuck with you. And what would you say
Mhm.
are some of the personal attributes for you that makes you a great speaker, a great motivational speaker, a pastor? What are some of the skills, competencies that you use? I no haven't worked with you in a while. I can name some, but I want to see what if you identify them.
Okay. Well, my biggest thing is the fact that I'm very transparent in every area of my life, whether I'm being the mother, the counselor, the pastor, the speaker. I'm very transparent. That way, when I'm sharing with someone or a group of people or whomever, they get to see me and not whatever we're speaking on that day, and know that it's just not a talk about what we're talking about that day, but it's something that I more likely have experienced, and I've given you steps of how I overcame
Yeah.
to whatever that talk is. So my biggest thing is transparency, my authenticity, and my love for people and seeing people happy.
That's beautiful. I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that. That's beautiful. And how have you connected this with your lifestyle, being a mom? And this is step two, and sort of hobbies and bringing those clues into your career right now.
I went on a journey of dating me, and in doing that, in doing that, it helped me to do it all, to where I got to see what I love, what I like, what I didn't like, and that helped me to move forward in to helping other women and men as well, because I dealt with men in domestic violence and counseling as well. Um, so it kind of bridged a tool to help them.
Wow. So, talking about step two and connecting the dots, we've spoken about all of these beautiful clues and that you've identified that makes you a really great pastor and a really great motivational speaker and helps you in the job you do. How have you connected it in your career, in your lifestyle and your hobbies to really create this unique offering for you?
By showing people how to live. Me being a single person, we're going from married to single, I had to learn how to date me. So as I go into the mandate of my life, the call that God has put me on, uh, ministering to different groups of women, men as well, I had to help them in different areas. So I made sure that I helped them through what I went through, basically with dating yourself, learning who you are, being the person that you desire to be, so that you won't allow anything to not taint what God has for you.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't do that, then I would more likely be given false hope in certain areas. So I wanted to do that, not just for my healing, not just for my children and my grandchildren, my legacy, but for anyone that comes in contact with me, so that they can understand. You may have had tragedy in your life, but it doesn't stop there. God set you free from that tragedy to still live life full of peace, joy, and happiness. So he needs you to find your voice. He needs you to learn you and to be the caterpillar in your life,
Wow.
so that you can live out the dream and destiny. So learn how to date you and fall in love with you is one of the biggest things that I can say that I love sharing with people, so that they can be them.
Absolutely. I I love that the next question was what's the one piece of advice you would give to people? And you just said that beautifully, learn how to date you. Um, so step one, we identified the clues. Step two, you spoke about how you use that with the authenticity and transparency to be able to live, to show them by example what you've done. And do you want to elaborate in step three a little bit more about how you've applied it? Because you wear very many hats. So in your writing, in your being a pastor, in your speaking, how do you apply these traits of authenticity and transparency and building relationships with people?
Well, the first thing is that every morning waking up, once you pray and you get out of bed and you pray, is saying yes to him,
Yeah.
yes to you, choosing you and putting you first, and giving yourself permission to live your life. And as you do that, the world is yours. And don't allow anyone's weight to be on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go throughout the day and something may happen, but you have the power to shift from that and not allow their negativity to come within your spirit, man. So that's one thing that I definitely do every morning, is saying yes to him, yes to me, and giving myself permission to live. And that's what I've shared with many that I have ministered, mentored, counseled. is to do that.
Mm.
And I give them 3 L's: live, laugh, and love with no regrets, because tomorrow is not promised.
That is so beautiful. I don't think that there's anything else that we can say to that. Live, love, and laugh with no regrets.